All
That
right,
that's
Kento, can you give us a little more on the LeBron topic? Kind of your impressions. Is this good for Nike? Is this good for artifact holders? What's your take on it?
Oh yeah, for sure. So LeBron topic. So for anyone who doesn't know, I'm a huge sneakerhead. I have probably like at least over 100 of the most hyped shoes ever made. I've probably bought and sold like, I don't know, out of 100,000 sneakers at this point. Um, like no cap. And Yeah, so me seeing this, what does it mean? So I wrote a thread about it. I'll pin it here in a moment, but I think it's a great thing for the space because from someone who's been in the sneaker industry for a while, and a lot of people who look at LeBron and a lot of the big ball players, they look at them for like inspiration and like what's hot, and so that's all on purpose, right? Like Nike, went to LeBron and was like, hey, like these are the new hot things. Like, you down to wear them? Obviously, who knows the details there, but he chose the ones he wanted to wear. He's matching in this picture that everyone has seen online already. And I think sneakerheads are going to look at it and be like, what the fuck are those things? Like, I can't buy those on the sneakers app. I can't buy them on Nike.com. Like, what are they? Right. And so that leads to the next thing is like, okay, you dive deeper, and obviously you're going to see some news coverage on it and Twitter and everything. And the regular sneakerhead finds out that, okay, it's attached to an NFT. There's this thing called Artifact. Um, and one thing leads to another. And I think what that does is it inspires that person that's in Web 2 that has no knowledge of Web 3 to kind of take a dive deeper into Web 3 and look at what Artifact is, at least. And with that being said, look at what Web 3 is. How do you acquire this sneaker even, right? Like, as a sneakerhead, I would always look around and say, like, how do I get this thing that's coming out? Is it a Travis Scott drop? Okay. Is it, a Virgil Abloh, like, off-white drop? Do I need to be in a certain location at a certain point? There's always like some weird thing that you have to do to get these exclusive sneakers. And sneakerheads go crazy for them. And sometimes it's just to rock the sneaker, and sometimes it's to resell the sneaker. And it's a sense of fashion. It's something that kids get to talk about in school, and so on. And so, yeah, I think it's one step forward for Web3, one step forward for Nike kind of introducing Artifact. And I personally, like, do I love the shoes? Like, visually, I think they could have been a little bit better, but like, I'm super amped just because it's LeBron wearing Artifact shoes, and let's fucking go. One step forward for Web3.
Awesome, Kento, man. Thank you for that amazing take. That was fantastic. I loved it. I want to go to Dre Millie next. Dre, you're rocking the CloneX today. We took two CloneXs up here, wearing those PFPs proudly. What's going on?
GM, what's good, good people? Yeah, man, CloneX, we out here. We're having a good week, a great week. I actually just got back from Tokyo, hitting the Gasai event with Takashi Murakami. That was excellent. And then to come home and LeBron wear the Artifact CloneX Genesis pair to the opening playoff game against the Warriors was another great checkoff on the box to make this week great. So, yeah, Kanto, I'm with you, man. I've been a sneaker. I call myself a sneaker connoisseur, right? Because I've evolved as a sneakerhead. I only get the finest of shoelaces to touch my feet. So I'm definitely a sneaker connoisseur. I've been doing that for over 20 years now. So 100,000 pairs sold. I probably hit that as well. I've been heavily into arbitrage and, jumping into how things can sell due to scarcity. And I think that's what drives the sneakerhead culture. So for you to say that you thought that the shoes should look a little bit better, like, I don't think you truly understand what LeBron had on his feet, man. Those Air Force Ones have Vanta Black on them, which actually is a derivative. It's called Black Hole Black. It's the artifact created Vanta Black, which is the blackest black that you can ever put on any substance. And if you know about Vanta Black, it's never really been utilized when it comes to any type of physical pairs. It's actually illegal to put that on a car. So for it to be on a Nike Air Force One and be the first Nike Air Force One to ever do it is an amazing situation. All of the colorways for the Air Force Ones that Artifact has created are based off of the different DNAs that CloneX holders have. and two of those shoes will be Murakami DNAs or Murakami derivatives. So we have a Murakami drip and a Murakami DNA. I can go speedballing into this. Like I said, I'm a sneaker connoisseur, but it's just like I said, it's a great week because we're actually getting that awareness built up. Actually having people like Kanto speak about this, and that's what we've been aiming at this entire time.
Dude, that's
Let's
amazing,
fucking
dude.
go.
Kanto, dude, I think you missed the mark on that. I think Dre Millie just explained that about that. Was it Black Hole Black? I mean, Fanta Black,
Black
right?
Hole Black is the actual color that Artifact utilized, but it's based off of Manta Black. Yes.
I mean, look, everyone has they're entitled to an opinion. Like personally, my favorite sneaker of all time is the Travis Scott Jordan 1 because it, just as you say, this black was used on the first Air Force One. The Travis Scott Jordan is the first time that the Nike swoosh logo is actually reversed. And I think, for Nike to change their logo was one of the biggest, like, just changes in a shoe design that they've ever done. And so that's why that's my favorite. But I totally get your point. I think maybe I'm not an Air Force One guy. I do have all the off-white, the MCAs and all the Air Force Ones. So, I know what's up with Air Force Ones, but personally, I'm a Jordan guy. I guess, just
No, I
preference.
feel you. Let me double down on that point because Travis Scott, that reverse swoosh was the first time Nike done it. And with Artifact and its Air Force Ones that they released, they actually replaced the Nike swoosh on the inside of the panel of each Air Force One. So this is the first time they've actually removed a Nike swoosh and allowed another brand to place it or replace it on that same shoe. So this is another point of history that's being made and the provenance being set with this collaboration with Artifact and Nike as well.
Let's fucking go.
That's cool, man. I'm loving this combo. Girl in the verse, you have your hand raised. Something to add?
Yeah, I wanted to ask because is this a win for onboarding? Is maybe the better question. That's really what I want to know because we've seen it in the past with Snoop Dogg and Eminem when they were at the AMAs with their Bored Apes. Obviously, totally different thing, and I get the sneaker, you know, trend and the whole like cult of it. But is this the way to onboard?
I can take that. So I wrote a whole thread on it, super brief. I wrote in like 5 minutes, but I can touch on it. Basically, I think yes, like this is a big step forward because, in marketing, how do you get a new audience, right? And the best way to do that is get influential people in that specific space to rock whatever product you're marketing. And Nike, they didn't just get like an influential person; they got the biggest one. Like, I mean, it's debatable if he's like one of the number one in history, right? Like, and so they got the biggest ball player right now, a trendsetter who wears not just like the hottest shoes, but he's always rocking some fashionable thing like John Elliott or whatever. If you are in fashion, you can see all that stuff. But so in my industry, and I come from the sneaker industry in my past, and all the sneakerheads, they're looking to see what the ball players are wearing, especially LeBron. If LeBron's wearing it, like, you want it. And mostly it comes down to people in middle school and high school, actually. And so this new generation, when they see, their favorite ball player wearing the hottest sneaker, it then goes to their parents, and they go to their parents and say, like, hey, I want that shoe. And then the parents like, okay, well, like, here's my credit card. And now it's up to like the kid, or even the person in like freshman year of high school. I'm mentioning that because that's typically the demographic who's going after this. And so then they're going to figure out, how do I buy this shoe? And they have to do some research. And so they go to Twitter. There's probably tons of articles about it. Nike's put some things out on it. And so now they're going to start being opened up to Web3. And I think eventually the integration with Nike and maybe like the sneakers app, that's really where it's going to take off because for anyone who doesn't know, the sneakers app, SNKRS, is the most popular like sneakerhead app. It's an app where the hottest shoes and collabs drop. It's not on the Nike app. It's on the sneakers app. Almost every day, there's some new cool shoe to get. This is where Travis Scott's drop, like Off-White's drop, all those collabs. And I think when we see the integration on that with some sort of like Web3 interface, maybe you know you hold a CloneX, and because of that, you get priority on the next Travis Scott shoe that drops or something. Or maybe you get bonus points and you get, you know, whatever the new shoe is that's releasing. But I definitely see it as more than just like you mentioned, Snoop Dogg releasing a song. First off, I think LeBron has much more visibility than Snoop Dogg. Like it's like 10 times the amount than Snoop Dogg. And I just think, you know, this is the very beginning. It's like the tip of the iceberg, right? Like this is the first time that a big person has worn something to do with Web3, and I think we're going to continue seeing it. It just had to be introduced very slowly, as we all saw. It can't be forced. It's got to be casual. So I think, you know, I really like how Nike's doing this, and I think we're going to see a lot more of it. And I definitely see it as like, who knows, maybe we onboarded, I don't know, 5,000 to 10,000 people just like overnight, just by that picture. So yeah, that's my take on it.
Kanto, okay, go
Yeah,
ahead.
I was going to jump in the counterpoint. He's making excellent points. He's made a couple of different points I want to touch on. To answer it directly, do I think it raised the awareness? Most definitely. This is only the beginning of everything that they're looking to execute, because a sneakerhead will see that shoe on LeBron's feet and say, okay, what are those? How do I get those? And that curiosity is what's going to pull them in to do the research to figure out, oh, damn, it's attached to RTFKT, right? Because nobody can say artifact when you first see it. They don't know what the hell it is. But they'll do that, and then they'll say, okay, what is this about? And then they'll deep dive into that situation, possibly, and look up to see that it has an attachment to NFTs and digital collectibles. And we all know, since we're part of the space, we all know how the sentiment is when it comes to NFTs. So that might be a drop off for some of them. And that might be the intrigue that keeps people going for others, because they'll then see that the allocation to this specific shoe that LeBron was wearing is only 1,776 pairs. And as a sneakerhead, that's exactly what you're aiming to get. You want the most limited sneaker that you could find. One, because of the provenance that it carries, and two, because if you're reselling those sneakers, if you get them, that means that nobody else can get them, or only 170 or 1,775 people can get that one if you have one. So you can think about the supply and demand metrics of that and be cha-chinging it up, right? So yes, I do think it will help bring the awareness. I have a formula that I always speak about on our Twitter space. My man Compound and I have a Twitter space called Bad Take that we jump into every night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. And I say this formula over and over and over again. First, you have to have the awareness, which is, oh, damn, what is this about? Let me pull into this. This has my attention. That then drives the hype, which is, oh, shit, this is crazy. I had no idea that these things were even out here. Let me dive deeper into this. Let me grab and be a part of this and then join this community, right? And that hype then causes FOMO for those who haven't jumped in. Yo, check me out. Look at my sneakers. Look what it does. It has NFT. It has technology into it, an RFID chip. It can do this. It can do that. Oh, shit, I need to be a part of that as well. And that FOMO drives more hype. And then the cycle restarts all over again. And I think that's what's going to happen when it comes to this release with Artifact and Nike. And now to speak to this other point that Kanto made with the sneakers app, Ron Ferris, one of the creators of that sneakers app, actually jumped into Nike Virtual Studios, which is the next leg for Nike to create in the Web3 space. And what Nike Virtual Studios is doing is they created .swoosh. And .swoosh will be used, is currently utilized as the onboarding system for people who are interested in Nike's in the Web2 space to understand what Nike is doing in the Web3 space. So they're simultaneously dropping their first drop on May 10th, which will teach those Web2 sneakerheads how to integrate themselves into Web3 utilizing digital collectibles as well. And if you're into .swoosh, you know it's kind of like a play school, my first NFT situation. They walk through everything slowly, clearly, and concise so people can understand how to get into this realm. They don't utilize the same platforms like we do as Degens here. There's no Discord. They just got a Twitter. They actually just kicked it off back in October, and they've already onboarded about 350,000 people the last time I've checked. So this utilization of having LeBron wearing these sneakers on the opening playoff game, and with Nike having their .swoosh release on May 10th, is a simultaneous situation. It's running in parallels. I say that because Artifact minting or forging event for people to be able to purchase these sneakers ends on May 8th. It started on April 24th and it ends on May 8th. So what that means is if you don't mint in between that time, if you don't forge in between that time, if you don't forge by May 8th, you have no other way to get those sneakers, which would then drive up the provenance and the hype and again the FOMO. So, and then on May 10th, Nike's going to drop their platform first release. So everything is working hand in hand. All the cogs are spinning. But to answer your question directly, yes, this will help build up the awareness. And I believe this is the start of the integration for sneakerheads in Web 2 to take those steps to join in Web 3.
So, Harshith, you are based AF. What's going on and what's your thoughts on LeBron and Artifact?
BM, everybody, and what the fuck is going on with the gas prices? And adding on top of everything where we are talking about, so there's one very important point which I want to share is, remember in 1970, the World Cup quarterfinal, Puma actually approached Pele and offered $120,000 just to tie the shoelace in the stadium. And guys, that's adjusted to around $1 million right now with inflation. Fuck Fed. All right. So what I'm trying to say is the stadium were the people and Pele was there tying his lace. But right now, the distribution level has increased rapidly. And now the world is a stadium. The Twitter is a stadium, right? And we are all watching it. We're all watching LeBron wearing those. And that is why it's such a big deal. And I've got sneaker flippers. Guys, I'm based in Toronto. Toronto's like crazy sneakerheads. I've got like sneaker friends, sneaker flippers, and I'm Gen Z myself, so I'm a fucking collector, guys, right? But when I look at my friends, these guys have no fucking idea what an artifact is. They're like, bro, what the fuck is an artifact? But now they're like, hey, what was that shoes? Hey, bro, I've never seen these shoes. Is this something like Web3, yo? Hey, you got like .eth? You might know something about this. And that, guys, that is how the adoption happens. And that's what I am super bullish about. And it's very slow. It's very slow. It's very subtle. But then it's the core human instinct. We want to know. It's our hero. We want to know. Hey, what's our hero wearing? Hey, I want to copy that. It's guys. In the end, we're all fucking apes. I'm not talking about the ape, but yes, we're all fucking apes, right? So monkey see, monkey do. That's what it is.
Man, you just killed it in that little bit right there, and we love having you on the show, man. Please come back every time. I want to go to Kompound next, and then Chris. Kompound, what's going on? What are your thoughts so far?
What is up, Trevor? What's up, guys? NFT NOW, Ninja, how's it going? I actually came up here because I thought this was going to be a cope session because I got rugged by WSB coin, and then I found out LeBron apparently wore some shoes this week. That's pretty cool. I didn't know that. But in all seriousness, just to answer like my little take, Dre covered everything. I knew he would, and I wouldn't have anything to say. But it is big for the space, but it is subtle, right? Like you don't want to shove this kind of stuff down people's throats. You don't want Web3 wallets, take this, do this. Like, yeah, the blade on the inside of the shoe and walking out of a tunnel is massive. That it's like a small. Here's the artifact blade, and then they start to research, like like Harshith was saying and Dre was saying, they start to research to see what they are, right? And then you got the 1-2 punch with Swoosh. Swoosh is onboarding 350,000 people through a custodial wallet. Right, they don't even realize they have a blockchain wallet. They just have a login on Nike.swoosh, and it's on Polygon, and they're getting digital collectibles. They don't realize that. They don't understand what's going on, but it's that small bridge, right, where the interested ones, the ones that are really digging it and liking these digital collectibles, are going to look over and go, "Yo, what's Bron wearing? Like, I already have this wallet, this digital collectible from .swoosh. Like, what's he got on over there? Like, let me go check out the ETH space. Let me go check out how I maybe grab one of those off OpenSea because I've got this .swoosh thing down. It was pretty simple. I could figure that out." So it's a slow onboarding, and I think it's really big for the space. And I'm really, really glad. I think that everybody's starting to see that Nike has approached this space in such a creative way. They're 1-2 punching with .swoosh and Artifact, and they're not shoving it down people's throats. Right? 'Cause as soon as you start shoving crypto down people's throats, they go, "Nah, you know what? I'm tired of you crypto bros and you NFT bros. Like, I don't want to deal with this." So really, really impressed with how they're rolling this 1-2 punch out. And thank you guys for having me up here and to kick it with y'all.
Yeah, Kompound, you're as well welcome anytime, man. That was some great points there, and I agree with you. Like the subtlety, especially in this market, right, where like we're in a bear market and like we've just come off the back of like FTX and all these other things. The more subtle approach, I think, definitely kind of like intrigue them and then interest them and let them kind of follow their own path into the space. Chris, you have your hand raised. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, first off, just Kanto and Millie's discussion over sneakers and onboarding and LeBron, that was amazing. I got a lot out of that, and just out of Artifact, that was really great. I've been keeping up a lot with like .swoosh just because it's, I mean, I'm not an artifact holder. It was something you could sign up for. It was something I could tell other people about and get them involved that aren't very like Web3 savvy. And I kind of wanted to add on that. About like 4 months ago, I was selling some. I'm not really a sneakerhead. I appreciate good shoes. My cousins are, and then my dad, he's just a big like, Nike fan. He's not really like necessarily a sneakerhead. But I was trying to tell them that I was getting an exclusive pair of Puma shoes. I don't know if anybody around here minted the Puma NFT, but essentially you got an airdrop of like a materializer NFT. You could like burn that, and you get a physical pair of shoes. And there's 4,000 total, I think, 2,000 of each pair. And so I was able to kind of just explain to my family and my friends, like, yeah, all I did was buy this NFT, and I basically got this for free. And it's an exclusive shoe that runs like less than 2,000 of them. And like for the collectors in my family, like that's a big deal. Like it's a very limited shoe, and the only way that you could get it would be through this process. And kind of like Kanto was saying earlier, like sneakerheads that really, they're already used to like, going through hoops, whether it be like geolocation or staying up till 3 a.m. or whatever it is. So like this is just like one more hoop. But I just want to like again add on the .swoosh onboarding. Like I don't know if he followed through with it, but like I even told my dad how to do it, and he's getting older, and he was able to, if he did go through with it, he understood the process because it's super easy. Like you didn't have to like make your own wallet, keep up with your seed phrase. It was a matter of fact so easy. I got confused because I was like sitting there looking how I create the wallet and connect it to Swoosh, but then I realized that it does it for you. So I was like, oh, well, okay. Like I was trying to like take a step ahead. So I guess there's 300,000 people that went through that process that are going to be either already in the space or newly introduced. And just to add, Millie already added a lot on Swoosh, but they did airdrop these posters that were really cool. They're their own little NFTs. These posters allow you to go for the drop on May 8th. On top of that, these posters are actually available in the physical forms across the United States. Each location that they're available in comes like in a different style. I haven't actually looked at them online. I kind of wanted to like go ahead and buy the whole collection. But I think that's really cool too, because if you're actually inside of these Nike stores, you can ask for these posters that were completely free and collect the physical posters as well. So this is just a major aspect of Web3 that I'm excited about, is like when the collecting and the comes together with like the NFTs and the physicals. Just something that I'm looking forward to. And like I said, I've been keeping up with .swoosh for a bit, and I am excited about for me, it's going to be May 10th because I didn't get airdropped on the posters, but I am excited for that.
Thanks, Chris. That's a great points and great contribution. Appreciate you, man. I want to go back to Kanto for a question. Like, where do you see Nike Artifact going from here? And do you think, was this like, I mean, this is like him like coming out of like a hotel, maybe maybe it's his house. I don't know. Like, people just kind of shooting him on the street. Is this, was this planned? Of course it is, right? Like, how does this kind of like promo actually go down? And like, what do you think is coming next for like Artifact and Nike?
Yeah. So typically how these things work is like they are planned in a sense. But typically like LeBron will go to Nike and say like, what's the new shit? And if it's like a Travis Scott shoe or Artifact, he'll be like, okay, those are dope. I want to say I'm like 100% sure that he chose those specific ones. They probably gave him the option to like choose which one he would rock, and those are the ones. Honestly, he probably has the whole collection already, but this is they just say like take these shoes, rock them when you want, and then there's photographers who just follow them everywhere anyways. So this kind of was just like bound to happen. I know he did also meet with the founders, and there's that picture as well. I don't know the full details on that, but Trev, what was the rest of your question?
Oh, just like, what do you see coming next for like the brand? Like,
yeah,
what's important? Like, how do we see this like breaking through to like more the mass market? Any like speculation? Just like, what is the play? Like, how is this going to be? Like, where does Artifact sit into the overall Nike umbrella?
Yeah, so I think the play is do what Nike does best, and that's release more exclusive shoes. They, as I've said on the sneakers app, they have drops every single day. And so I think we'll probably see more collaborations. We'll probably see more drops. Who knows? Maybe if you're a CloneX holder, you just continue to get these drops. That would be really badass. Or maybe you just get access to purchasing them, similar to like how Adidas did. And I think that we're only going to see more releases. And this is just another source of revenue for Nike, and it's a quote unquote like cool factor for them. They're always trying to stay up with, you know, what the next thing is. And Web3 is obviously like a very small market, and you know, it could be the next big thing in their mind. And so I think, yeah, like with all the sneakerheads, they just want, you know, whatever the hot shit is, whatever the most exclusive shit is. If they can buy it and rock it and no one else has it, that makes them cool. And as a sneakerhead, that's one of the mentalities is like you're rocking something no one else has, so it's pretty dope. The other thing is obviously if it's just fire, and you know, like the whole the black velvet thing on it, like that thing, that's an awesome aspect. The fact that the artifact logo is on it is awesome. And honestly, like if we were to go like 5-10 years from now, I think that these are going to be a huge collector's item. Like, I own all the Nike Yeezys that came out, the originals, and so like each of those now, because you know we've seen where Kanye's gone is worth at least like minimum 5K. I think I paid like $250 for them, and I think we're going to see the same thing here. Like these, because they're the first ones that Nike and Artifact have collabed on. Fast forward 5 years from now, especially if NFTs kind of just continue to expand, these are going to have a lot of value. So if you're into investing things, like, you know, we're on the show, non-financial advice, but like as a longtime sneakerhead, I could totally see these going up over time. But that's kind of the outcome of where I see this going.
Thank you, Kanto. Dre, anything to add?
This is only the first iteration between the Nike Artifact drop. Artifact has also released a different pair of shoes that have minted already. They're called the Crypto Kicks in real life, the CIRLs. And this one is the Artifact-centric release. They removed all the Nike logos on this sneaker. It actually has unreleased technology that has never been in any other Nike shoe thus far. Bluetooth capabilities, where you could link this shoe to an app on your phone, adjust the straps similar to the Nike Adapts that came out in 2017. This is actually the next iteration of that Adapt series. But they added some extra perks to it as well. You can have in real life quests, which are similar to what Chris was talking about with the geo mapping with releases. So basically what that means is you can wear these shoes, have a quest in real life, similar to how the Pokemon Go craze was, meaning if you go to a certain destination, it would grant you exclusive access to purchase products from Nike and or Artifact. It also has features such as equipping to Bluetooth. I would say this was a little bit more on the speculation side of things, but equipping to Bluetooth, meaning I have a Tesla Model X. I can potentially use these sneakers to be the key for my Tesla Model X. If it's other CloneX holders who are walking down the street, I will get haptic feedback from my sneakers alerting me that I'm around a CloneX holder. So many more capabilities that are coming in with the innovation that are tapped into these sneakers. And I think these are flying under the radar for people who are outside of the CloneX ecosystem. Again, they're called the Crypto Kicks in real life, CIRLs. So we see that they have future plans to continue these collaborations. CloneX Artifact just dropped their season 1 wearables that have the RFID chip in them, which you can link to the blockchain as well, they will have an inventory app that's linked to the clone that you own, meaning if you have this wearable that you have in real life, your clone has it in the metaverse and Web3. It's so many more opportunities that will be coming up with this acquisition that Nike made of Artifact. And honestly, this is just the beginning. The Air Force Ones that LeBron had on, they have the RFID chip in them as well. It's called the World Merging Chip. That's what they call it. And the whole slogan is to merge worlds within Artifact. So yeah, man, it's so much more than just Air Force Ones. That's the point that I'm making. Everything is actually just rolling out with the Air Force Ones. The delivery of the CIRL should be late June, early July. So after this forging event ends on May 8th, we will start seeing more conversations happening about the CIRLs. And I'm sure we'll be talking about those soon as well.
Awesome, Dre. Thank you for giving us all that information. That was super interesting. Eli Herf, I see you have your hand raised. What's going on, man?
What is up, Trevor? I thought you were fading me for a bit, like I faded, buying Pepe and then trying to dump Pepe on everyone like everybody's been doing. Yeah, look, I'm starting to feel my age a little bit, but I don't want to dox Trevor, but we're a very similar age, so you can infer from that what you like. I can't believe that I didn't realize that RTF, whatever that KT was Artifact. I feel like an old man not knowing that. But the sneakerheads will be proud of me. I bought my first pair of Air Force Ones ever the other day, and I'm actually wearing them, and they're super dope. So I've been waiting to get myself a pair. So there you go. I don't know like what model they are, but they're cool. Yeah, what's up? I just think that I don't think anybody in their right mind should fade Nike and what they're doing and this whole LeBron situation, because everything since their inception with Bill Bauman and Phil Knight and Steve Prefontaine, I know Steve Prefontaine's not noted as he was the athlete that ran under Bill Bauman in
Without
Oregon.
Limits, man. Without Limits,
Correct.
that movie, dude. Best
Oh,
movie.
his movie's awesome, but the story, it's quite sad actually. But yeah, like, since then, Nike have not really I would say they haven't put a foot wrong in their marketing. Like, Nike is probably the biggest, most recognizable brand on the globe and will continue to be. So, whether or not that photo was accidental or in my mind it was completely planned with LeBron, like, let's be real, they're not silly. Like, Nike know exactly what they're doing, and they're not going to do what we've seen other brands do and rush into Web3 and kind of make a mess of it and kind of make a mockery of it. Everything they're going to do is going to be so calculated, and whether or not it's going to onboard people straight away, regardless, it is going to be, because Nike is, an absolute powerhouse in that regard. So I think whatever they do, it would sort of be, again, as the title of this show is, not financial advice, but it would be sort of remiss not to at least keep abreast of what they're doing, because they're going to do it I don't really love the expression like Web 2 companies, but if we're going to refer to them as a Web 2 company moving into Web 3, I would think that they're going to do it the best in the most calculated way, with the most strategy in terms of trying to, onboard people, but also get the millions of Nike people around the world to sort of come with them. So yeah, it's sort of, I think it's interesting to watch them do this, because it seems to me like they're doing it in the most calculated and correct way so far. And you've just seen it, like we've just been talking about it. You can't fade it.
Well said, Eli Herf. Well said. And Kumba, did you have any thoughts on kind of like Artifact and Nike? What's coming next? Like, what is Artifacts? How does it fit into the broader umbrella of Nike? And like, kind of where is this space going as a whole when it comes to, fashion, shoe wear, athletics, and Web3 NFTs?
Yeah, man. So I think Dre touched on it, but everything that Artifact's dropping has a digital counterpart. And so we have a huge economy. We're pushing a creator revolution where we're empowering individuals with 3D assets to create renders, to create videos, to create anything. So Artifact's big move is not only dropping the physicals that we can rock IRL, but to give all the assets to the creators to do it digitally. I don't know if anybody touched on it, but I see a lot of times on the timeline, like, what's the utility of a CloneX, right? But owning the CloneX is what got access to each of these Air Forces. So these Genesis ones that LeBron is wearing, you had to have a CloneX to even mint it, right? So there's different DNAs within the CloneX ecosystem, and they all hold different rarities. And there's different Air Forces. There's 10 different pairs, but it's tied to the DNA of your clone. So the rarer your clone is, you can actually end up minting one of these rare pieces of physical clothing and Air Forces. The same thing with the digital. So it's kind of like trait-based minting, and they end up selling for more. Like, there's 30 aliens in the collection, and those things are selling for 6 ETH a pop right now just for the Air Forces. So the utility behind clones is the access, man, honestly.
That's super cool. I appreciate that, Compound. Really, thank you for that. Girl in the verse, you have your hand raised. Go ahead.
All the sneakerheads in here, is this the way to go with utility sneakers? Because, we've seen a lot of people, sell out hoodies, but is sneakers the new hoodie is my question, I guess. Because, yeah, a lot of sneakers are coming out.
Ooh.
Yeah. Yeah, Jay, you can take that. I'll take it out.
I'm gonna say, as a sneaker connoisseur, my answer would be no, right? Because just because somebody does something doesn't mean that they're doing it well. And you can take that however you like to take it, right? As a sneakerhead, people just don't buy them because they're sneakers. They either buy them because they're dope, they're fly, right? They look good, they can style well, they have a good fashion sense when it comes to that specific sneaker, or it's limited, or it's attached to some type of person that they look up to, right? That's the one thing that Nike is excellent doing, and they started off doing that with Michael Jordan. If you haven't seen the Air movie yet, please go watch it. It's amazing. They did a great job, and it's all about selling a product with an emotional connection to it, right? That's the reason why they picked up Jordan. They could see his greatness before he even touched foot on an NBA court. And once he started going out there and doing his thing as Michael Jordan, that's what made people want to have his sneakers. And that was the provenance that it carried throughout his entire career. You wanted them because Jordan wore them. And then they started signing other basketball athletes that were more than just athletes, they were stars. You wanted the Penny Hardaways because Penny Hardaway was that man. You wanted the Charles Barkley because Charles Barkley was not a role model, if you remember those classic Nike ads, so on and so forth. So those are the things that people usually attach themselves to, is the emotional connection that comes with the shoe. Sure, you could come out with any other type of model and slap a Bored Ape on it, and hopefully it does well. You know what I mean? But don't have, in my opinion, it's not about having just a thing to have a thing. It's about having something that people necessarily want because it's done well. When it came to these Artifact Air Force Ones, they were done exceptionally well. The reason why LeBron wore those, yes, he was seated a pair. Nike gave him the pair, right? But he didn't have to wear those. But you saw how he put it together with the fit that he had on. It looked good. He even swapped out the laces and did his own personal touch to it. So it looked great. That's what people want to wear these. Exactly what I said earlier about Black Hole Black being on the first shoe. People want to be a part of that because once you actually see the shoe, I would pin it up top, but this isn't my space. But once you actually see the shoe, the light reflect off of the shoe in such a way that has never been done before on a sneaker. So people want to be a part of that. A different DNA called the Angels have a translucent toe box and side panels, so you can actually see the sock that you're wearing with that sneaker while you're wearing it. Right, that's innovative to a point where people want to be a part of that. It looks good. The shoe is actually constructed well. They use luxury materials to build out the sneaker. They want those things. Other sneakers, again, the Murakami drips, they have Murakami flowers all over them. If you know who Takashi Murakami is and the legacy he's created within the artwork that he's done, right? He was introduced to the hip hop community with Kanye West's Graduation album. He did the cover art for that, and I'm sure you've seen Takashi Murakami collab with so many other people, Louis Vuitton. He has a watch that came out, but so on and so forth. But once you recognize that flower on the sneaker, you want it because it's attached to Takashi Murakami, and that emotional connection to his artwork is there as well. So that's usually the thing that pushes the sneakers. Like the homie Kanto said, his favorite sneakers, Travis Scott's, right? And I'm sure the backward swoosh was fire. The colorway was great, but the fact that it's associated with Travis Scott, I would assume he's a great Travis Scott fan, and that's why he likes him so much. So that's why people buy the sneakers. So yeah, you can slap a label on something, an image on a pair of shoes, right? And hopefully it does well, but I wouldn't say that's the alpha. So yeah, don't just start throwing out sneakers like hoodies, man.
I love that. I just wanted to say thank you because you're bringing in such a great perspective. Because over the last 10 days, it just seemed like sneakers were all the craze. But just the way you described it there, I really excellent. Thank you so much.
Dre, you killed that. Personally, I like Nike better as like design wise, but I think Dre's point to it. It also matters like who's attached to it. That really makes a big difference. With the Adidas shoes, you had this digital identity of Indigo, which was the Bored Ape that is on the Adidas shoes, and it's cool, but it's not the same as someone like a Travis Scott or Murakami being attached to the shoe. And it's just like you said, like yeah, I'm a fan of Travis. If you're a fan of Jordan, even you buy the shoe because you feel some sort of connection to it. Like me personally, I'm a fan of Murakami, and I have some of his art pieces. The Graduation album was when I actually first found out about him because I was a fan of Kanye way back when, and so for me, like, I'm probably just gonna get those Murakami shoes anyway because I love Murakami and the flowers he did on the shoes and the designs, like, those are fire. And so yeah, I think like to the point, you can't just release an NFT, attach a shoe to it, and no matter how dope it is, it's gonna sell, or the NFT price will go up. There does have to be some emotional connection to the designer, the artist, or something of relevance that is tied to it.
Yeah, well said, Kanto. I mean, I think also like a shoe is such a different canvas than a sweatshirt, right? Like a hoodie, it's kind of just like you put a print on like it could also be just like a piece of art that could be in a like framed painting you can put on a hoodie, but a shoe is like a totally different canvas and it has like kind of a different meaning behind it. Chris, you have your hand raised. Question, something to add?
Yeah, kind of poking fun and kind of serious question. I pinned the Puma shoes, which I know is different up at the top from the Puma NFT. But just wondering, as like a CloneX holder, so was it kind of a fear in the back of your head, like that Artifact could do a shoe and people just not care? Like could that have been a very real possibility? And I guess like to counter that, I guess with LeBron actually representing the shoe, that's a huge step in the right direction for like Artifact. I don't know if that question, like the way that I framed it, makes sense. I jokingly pinned the shoe that I got up at the top because like I don't really know or care if that's going to be valuable, and I know Puma is like nothing compared to compared to Nike. But I do wonder if like just from somebody who's not a sneakerhead, if like that exclusivity matters, in the future.
100%. To be honest, to answer the last question about the exclusivity, yes, for sure. Like supply and demand 101, right? If the supply is low and the demand is there, it'll bring some type of profitability in the future. I personally think the Pumas that you put up top are kind of fire, for real. Like I like the style of it. When I was talking about other shoes, I was mostly talking about the other Pumas that were coming out, right? I'm not going to sit up here and try to, rug anyone who was interested in those type of situations or even those NMDs that the Bored Apes are doing. I think it's cool. The idea of it is cool. The execution is kind of lacking, in my opinion. But that goes into that segues into answering your first question about the fear of Artifact not doing it correctly. I mean, that's always there when you're a fan of any project, right? And I can say if you're a part of the Artifact ecosystem, some people, when they first saw the NFT of certain shoes, they definitely didn't have the best response, right? We just came out of a FUD shitstorm that lasted for a good couple of months here in the Artifact community. But part of the reason we came out of it was we saw the lookbook of the products that was created by Artifact, and that being able to see those shoes actually physically created and on the model's feet, it changed the perspective of the majority of the community. Like you could see it in real time. You could see it in real life. Like, yo, this is pretty dope. Like they really did that. And that kind of raised the bar and switched the sentiment of the community. And like I said, I just came back from Tokyo yesterday and I was at the Gasai event with Takashi Murakami and Artifact and the founders. We actually did a live stream on the Artifact official Twitch account. Check that out if you guys want to hear their sentiment is coming directly from the mouth of the founders. And that, again, it's on the Artifact official Twitch account. But at that event, you could see the shoes in person, the physical shoes in person, and you could see how the light reflects on them because certain pairs of shoes have different attributes that look better in person. The reptile DNA, which is another DNA that's part of the CloneX ecosystem, the shoes that they came out with, they have a lenticular upper. And I just like saying this word because Zap says it all the time, lenticular upper. They have this lenticular upper that changes color when you look at it from different angles. So meaning it's a reptile, it's showcasing the properties of a reptile. So, certain snakes, their scales change in different angles as you look at them. And the shoes reflect that same property. And it was just amazing to see how they constructed that and put that together. That wasn't something that necessarily reflected when you saw the NFT during the original drop. So being able to see these things in real life gives you a completely different perspective of how they executed with the materials that were used. Even the Genesis pair that we saw LeBron wear, when you first saw the NFT, it just looked like a pair of regular black Air Force Ones. And if you know sneaker culture or hip hop culture in general, black Air Force Ones is usually for, the broke boy. Well, let me slow down. Like the people who like to rob people, let's say it like that, they usually wear black Air Force Ones because they can get away with it. But as you saw the evolution of everything, you notice that they utilize Vanta Black, and you can see what Vanta Black looks like with the light reflecting off of it. It's a Manny Fresh verse that I always used to say, or Manny Fresh lyric that I used to say with that. As the light hit the ice, it twinkle and glisten. Like, hopefully y'all know that, and if not, y'all need to listen to more Manny Fresh. But that's exactly what the shoes gives you, that twinkle and glisten that you're looking for. So yeah, that's the long-winded answer to say yes. That fear is always there, regardless of what project you're with, right? You could be a Bored Ape Maxi, but see those MMDs and be like, damn, what happened, right? But the artifact showed up, and they definitely did what they were supposed to do. And that's the reason why I think Artifact is one of the best blue chip projects out there, because they move very accurately. They innovate and they execute. And a lot of the times in this NFT project Web3 realm, we're so used to the instant gratification that we're looking to win, win, win. When we gonna get this? Where's you at? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? An Artifact likes to move behind the scenes and show up and over deliver as they under promise. And that's exactly what happened here. So the fear was there, but it was eliminated when they actually executed and gave us more than we thought we were actually going to receive to begin with.
Love it, Dre. Love it, man. And lenticular, dude. I'm going to be using that word as much as I can. Compound, you have your hand raised. Something to add?
No, Dre actually touched on it, but I think the question was if we were worried how the quality might turn out at the end. I think that at this point, if you've been in the ecosystem long enough, you know the quality that they put out physically. And yeah, the NFT is never going to look like the physical. But after receiving hoodies and previous drops, and they actually dropped a collection prior called the Space Drip Collection, and it also has a world merging chip in it, NFC chip, and connects to your NFT on the blockchain. And it's a transaction on the blockchain that shows provenance that you actually own those shoes. And when you sell those shoes, you want to, send the NFT with it to the next person so that they can connect their wallet and show like a history of ownership, right, and authenticity. So we actually were able to see that Space Drip Collection, which was a collab with a lot of smaller artists here in Web3, a lot of Web3 artists. So we were able to touch those at the events and see those. So we knew that the shoes were going to be fire. We knew they were going to be quality because of previous drops they put out. So yeah, man, excited about it, and I'm excited to get mine in.
Awesome, Compound. Thank you for that. And let's go over to Kanto. Kanto, what's up?
Also, the exclusivity is insane. I don't know if you guys have seen the amount of sneakers being distributed from this release. Like, some of them, I think I saw, like, Drake, correct me if I'm wrong, like 80, like only 80 pairs on one of them. And then I think like another one was like 1,000 or so, just to give everybody some alpha on like what rare sneakers are and the amounts on those. So typically, like when you go on a Travis Scott release, which is just considered one of the most hyped sneakers, and those shoes go from anywhere from like $1,500 to all the way up to like $3,000. And so those, when they release, they're about a 40,000 to around 60,000 quantity. And so you have a sneaker that is selling for, sometimes close to 3K. And, in this instance, there's only 80 pairs of one of the shoes. And, needless to say, last time I checked, it was like 4.5 ETH for that one. But there's some others that are a little bit lower that are definitely affordable. And I saw like there's only 1,000 pairs of those shoes. So as far as a collector, one thing, being a collector, one thing I have in my mind is a lot of sneaker fans, like, they don't know how all this stuff works yet. And they don't even know how to buy the sneaker yet. And you have a lot of like OG collectors that are just used to waiting in lines, and they know the store owner at this point. And those are the kind of people who are gonna want this sneaker as soon as they find out about it. So they're not like a DGen or like a Twitter person like us on Twitter Spaces. They might not even know what Twitter Spaces is. And so as soon as they do find out about LeBron wearing a shoe, Nike has a drop. It's the first, with this color black, and it only has like 1,000 editions, or 80 or whatever these exclusive amounts are. They're gonna want that shoe. So, just being a collector, I'll probably just pick up all of them, and I think that you can't really lose on that because they're eventually either gonna resell, or you can just rock a shoe that no one has. But that's my take on just. I remember seeing the quantities, and those are crazy.
Yeah, well said, Kento. Well said. Let's go to Eli Herf and then Compound.
So this is actually a question for the sneakerheads. It's a great point Kanto made about these being so much more scarce and such interesting. It's almost an opportunity to sort of like, I don't want to say dump them on the sneakerheads who aren't in Web3 because it's not really dumping it on them when they are collectibles, but it's a great opportunity nonetheless. But I want to ask the sneakerheads, like, how do you decide, like with for example, LeBron wearing those shoes, like, do you wear them, or is it kind of like people who have really expensive cars that just keep them in the garage and kind of keep them clean? Like, how do you and this is a serious question. Like, how do you decide? And then if you do wear them, do they lose value, or like is it all about being mint and crisp and staying in the box? Like, how does that work? And then I want to add to that, I don't know if Nike are doing it. Do you think that they'll sort of end up with digital twins where you'll be able to sort of track their authenticity through some kind of scan, linking to an NFT, and then if they're traded, rather than it being, I don't know how you guys trade. You can enlighten me, for cash or whatever, or transfer or Bitcoin, or I don't know. Like, do you think that they'll be traded in a Web3 manner, perhaps moving forward, where you only pass over the physical shoes with, the sort of like digital, proof of authenticity NFT?
So just on the point that Canto made on scarcity, right? Every collector loves scarcity, and not to shill CloneX, but each clone was able to claim 2 pairs of these sneakers depending on their DNA. So this touches on Eli's question, was you have one to rock, right? And then you got one to flip and sell in the future. They actually thought that out. If you have a clone, you get to claim 2 pairs. You can sell one, make some profit, and then you can rock one. That was intentional. And for your question about the digital to physical connection, yeah, you get the NFT when you claim it. You get the physical or the digital NFT, and when the physical shoe comes, there's an NFC chip actually built into the side of the Air Force Ones. It's actually inside the Air Force Ones, and you connect it via the Artifact website. You connect to that NFT. So now you make that connection on the blockchain. It costs, $3, $5 in gas right now. It's probably cost $40 in gas, But yeah, you make that connection, and when you sell it, you want to give that digital NFT to the person you sell it to as well, right? Because then he's going to connect with his wallet, and it shows provenance on the blockchain, and that's just the right thing to do. But what that does is now onboarding that next person you might sell it to, right? They may just want the physical, but I'm planning to give them the digital as well, and I'm going to show them how to connect these shoes when they do connect it. And now I've just onboarded somebody on a completely new technology, and then that supply stays low, right? Like, the sneaker world has a huge problem with fakes coming in from overseas, but you can't fake the blockchain and you can't fake code, right? So the authentic ones will have a specific signature on the blockchain. Any fake ones that come in won't even have, if they have the NFC chip on it, it won't be, the right signature for the right collection on the blockchain. So yeah, man, those are already built in, and Nike's already ahead of it. That's those shoes. There's already shoes out that have that. The Space Trip collection already has that, and this collection does as well. So great question, bro. Honestly,
that's what it's about. To answer your question about wearing them, yeah, like, it just depends. Certain sneaker heads, I myself as a sneaker connoisseur, I only want to wear limited edition shoes. Like, one of my biggest pet peeves is walking into somewhere and seeing someone else wearing my sneakers and wearing the sneakers that I have on. Like, I legit want to turn around and go back home. Like, yo, this is some bullshit. But having something with such low allocations of numbers, it gives me the opportunity to go anywhere and have these, right? Like Kanto touched on it, and the allocations are extremely low. I think the highest allocated one is the Murakami Drip, and that one has 4,182. The Human DNA has 1,019.86. The Angels have 1,327. The Genesis has 1,776. I said that already. The Robots has 1,126. The Demons have 1,831. Now, it starts getting slim as we go to the higher up DNAs, like the Reptiles. It's less than 400, only 399. The Undead DNA, less than 200, only 190. Now, this is the most elite when it comes to the Murakami DNA and the Alien. The Murakami has 167. The Alien only has 60 pairs. And again, Kanto hit on that, saying that they're about 4.5 ETH right now, but rightfully so, because there will only be 59 other people out there that have a pair of these if you have a pair of the Alien DNAs. So that type of thing weighs heavily in the sneaker realm. People want to have something that other people cannot have. And Kanto spoke about the Travis Scott release. those were considered limited edition from a Nike drop, like a tier 0 drop, and they had over 250,000 pairs. So if you could see the difference in releases, this is almost like a bespoke luxury release when it comes to sneakers. So it's up to you if you want to wear them or not. I'm definitely going to have on my toes, right? My size 14 dogs will be out there barking sparkly with my Vanta, my black hole black sneakers, and my lenticular uppers on my reptiles. So yeah, man, this is something. If you're interested, go for it. I actually pinned the way to be able to receive or to mint the sneakers at the top of the space. Again, it's only open. The foraging event is only open from April 24th to May 8th. So you have a little bit over a week left. And once you miss it, they're gone. Once they're gone, they're gone. The only way you can get them is secondary markets, and we all know how secondary markets like to take away things from you, with no KY jelly. So they give it to you raw. So keep that in mind. If you want to get them now.
There we go, Drake. Kanto, go ahead.
So one of the things that's been an issue in the sneaker world is fakes, and I've authenticated fakes for years for different stores, and most sneakerheads know if you want to buy a sneaker on secondary, you go to GOAT or you go to StockX. Like those are the two standards. eBay just started doing authentication as well, and the reason you go to these companies to buy your shoes secondary is because they authenticate it. And that authentication has a premium price on it. Resellers pay, anywhere from like 11 or 12% all the way up to 20% to StockX or GOAT. The buyer has to pay additional, and so just for authentication, which Nike's trying to solve for with the whole chip and everything, that alone, I think, is going to change how sneakers are viewed in the future. When this tech becomes a lot more user friendly, it's really going to help authenticators be able to know, are they getting their correct shoe or not. That's one thing. Another thing is like as far as the whole NFT connection aspect. So speaking of, StockX actually started listing NFTs on their website, where if you bought the NFT, you get the physical product as well. So Nike actually sued them and won. To my knowledge, I think they might still be battling it out, but since then, StockX has taken those off, I think. And Nike really is owning this technology, especially because StockX, like the biggest reseller company, it was doing it, and so. Anyway, yeah, I think, look, as soon as these shoes are quote unquote forged and you can't get them anymore on OpenSea and secondary, they're going to go directly to StockX. They're going to go directly to stores on, I'm in Los Angeles. If you're here, there's a street called Fairfax. That's all the sneakerheads are on there. And they're going to start getting distributed, and I could totally see the resale value doubling, tripling, and then in a couple years from now, like real collectors will pay 10x for this. So that's why I said I'll probably pick them up. Will I rock them? I'll probably rock one or two of them. I personally don't have any dead stock. For anyone who doesn't know what dead stock is, it just means like sneakers not worn. I wear all my sneakers. And then on the question of are they as valuable if you wear them? So they decrease probably by 60% at least. So you still can resell them and people will still buy them, but you lose at least 60% when you rock the sneakers. And things like not having the box, but the sneakers are brand new, that will decrease them by like 25%, just not even having the box. If you have a defect on the sneakers, that will decrease the price by at least 20%. So sneakerheads, when they buy this, it's like for anyone who knows Pokemon cards or collects anything else, there's like almost this grade factor, and all of that stuff matters. But anyone will still buy it at the end of the day. When I didn't have as much money and I wanted to blend in with the cool kids and have the latest sneaker, I bought used pairs. And to me, it didn't really matter. I was able to have like, the newest off-white shoe. And I think a lot of people still buy used pairs all the time, but it still will sell. But yeah, I think the quantities on this are super limited. It was crazy to me, the amounts, but I think it was well done because Web3 is such a small community as of now, and I think once this expands, we'll start to see larger quantities.
Let me piggyback off that one too, Kanto. And you made some amazing takes. And excuse my voice because I'm actually lacing up some shoes right now. But yeah, StockX, the authenticity guaranteed, right? That's the reason why people went to those certain platforms to buy on the secondary market. But even StockX no longer guarantees that authentic purchase. So there, you're basically, and a lot of people don't know this because if you're not into the sneaker game, you just don't pay attention to it. But StockX no longer guarantees that their shoes are even authentic. And it's an ongoing case that they have been peddling fakes throughout their sales for quite some time now. And that's the whole point of having the world merging chip inside of these sneakers, because everything from this point on will be authenticated on the blockchain. So what's going to be real. You can just jump into an app and check it and see. You can scan your sneakers, see who had it first, where you bought them from, if you buy them secondary, and how real they truly are. So that's a play that Nike's making with the development of Dot Swoosh as well. I truly believe, and this is all speculative, but I truly believe that they'll have their own secondary market where people can purchase these digital goods. And of course, with purchasing the digital, you get the physical if you choose to burn or forge it, however, whatever Nike wants to call it. I think that's going to be the play. That's the reason why they're pulling all of their physical allocation away from retail stores. Their Foot Lockers are closing down because they're going to just create more from a supply and demand standpoint, meaning think about the materials that will be saved if you don't have to just create thousands and thousands of shoes and ship them out there. Let's say those thousands and thousands don't sell and they're sitting on shelves forever. This will change because you'll know the exact amount of allocation that you need to sell or create based off of what you sell digitally. So someone buys an NFT or a digital collectible, that means they want this sneaker. They get the option to burn or forge it. That means they will have the physical manifestation of that digital sneaker. Nike knows to create that one physical pair, ship it out to the person who purchased it. They end up saving so much more on supply. They save so much on shipping. They save so much on everything that has to deal with all the overhead that it comes with creating and selling shoes retail. And that's there is the key and the gem that will change the retail game. We will soon see big companies like LVMH doing the same thing. Why do I have to create these clothing? And if anyone knows Louis Vuitton, they don't ever go on sale. So if they have products that come and sit on their rack, what do? They burn the shit. They rather burn it than put out on sale to increase the provenance. They don't want it to make it seem like, you can get it at a bargain bin. So that will cut out all of that waste that they're utilizing these materials for. This sector, this transition that we're going through right here, right now, in the present moment, is the thing that will change everything when it comes to retail. So yeah, all of the fakes, there's $1 billion industry when it comes to fakes that will be eradicated completely because everything will be then on blockchain and everybody will know what's real and what's fake and how they want to purchase it. They want to get the fakes. They can go to Fairfax and hit up all of the great retail shops, or they can go to the blockchain and get them 100% raw and uncut real from the distributors themselves.
I just wanted to add one thing is that the forging for those sneakers does end on on the 4th. It's 4 days or the 8th, 4 days away. And the way that it works is if people will inevitably not forge their shoes, they won't claim the physical pairs. They have the digital NFT and they'll forget to claim. They won't claim, which lowers the supply. So they're talking about how exclusives are and how low the supply is. Every time people forget to claim their physicals, and the supply will actually go down. They'll actually be more exclusive when after the 8th, when that forging closes. So that's all I wanted to add. You guys have been killing it, Dre, Kanto. Really appreciate you guys and your knowledge.
So guys, man, it's been a great show, and I want to wrap up with my favorite part. This is the lightning round. We're going to go to each one of the panelists, ask for your top, final thoughts on the space, your top trade, your top alpha, what you've learned, or even some life advice for the audience for the week to send us home in a positive mood and with something to think about.
Yeah, I think this is just the first of many. I totally see more, but I think in a couple of years, or even at the end of the year, when these become more prominent, people are going to look back and say, "Wait, what was the first collab?" or what was the first thing that kind of brought it into the space, like LeBron wearing these shoes. So yeah, personally, I'll be picking up a couple of these pairs. Whenever these ship, I'll probably take a pic and post it on here as well. But yeah, I'm just excited for all the like real world utility, aside from being a PFP. So yeah, that's it for me.
Thank you, Kanto. Always a pleasure having you. What are your final thoughts for today? Send us home in a positive mood and with something to think about.
I appreciate you in the kind words, my friend. If you do plan on minting these Air Force Ones before May 8th, and I didn't realize it was that close, man, this Japan trip is really throwing off my schedule. Make sure you get the ones that are pre-forged. Do not get the ones that are the NFT that have the animation to them already, because those are the ones that people have already picked up. If you have any questions about the forging event, my DMs are always open. Bad Take every night, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We talk about similar topics there and many, many more, or California International Time, however you want to frame it. We are here for that. I just wanted to say, if your homie's calling you at 2 a.m. telling you to pick up some ass, I don't know if that's the best advice, but it just depends on who you are and your personality and what's happening in your personal life. No judgment from me. I probably would have done it 10 years ago. I appreciate you guys, man. Thank you very much for having me. It's been a great space. It's been nothing but fun. Just wanted to give some positivity out there. No matter what you're going through, I just want to make sure that you know that you're going through it for a reason. Don't take anything as a loss. It's only a lesson. And we have to give praise and be grateful for the present moment, because that's exactly what it is, a present. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. Make sure everyone who's listening follow the speakers of the space. It's been an excellent one. Thank you very much for having me. I would love to come back any and every time you would send an invite. Have a great one.
Thank you, Dre. That's our show, everyone. Join us Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6:30 p.m. We go until we are tired of talking, which is a while.